If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity, friendship, that type of thing. But
if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. All right, you beautiful people.
Every last one of you. We have a stream
arrived.
Looks like we're hanging out on Rumble and update those titles.
We're up on Restream too, right? Have to be. There's 48 people there.
Well, yeah. I just have to update the titles. So.
All right, you beautiful people. You guys see the lineup. You guys know what it is. Vin and Sori in this bitch. Shout out to the big homie, DJ Mike. We got a really interesting, what do they say, eclectic? We got a really interesting, eclectic group of songs for you beautiful people. Y'all know what it is. So let's get down. Is there anything that Mikey wants us to read?
Yes, there is. There is.
Whoa, look at all these people. We got Jet on a night walk. Jet, be safe. For goodness sakes.
Yup.
Jet, talk about it's not dark yet. It's 10:23, Jet. Where do you live? It's not dark at 10:23.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the combo stream with Mikey and Khellendross, it looks like.
Yes, that is true.
Ehelete.
Copy and paste for my list here. Boom, boom, boom. That's good. Updated. Okay. You have the little screen, whatever. It's down in your downloads. It's this picture here.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yep.
All right. Wrong title. Yeah, Ben, I updated it.
What do you mean?
It's just I didn't have a chance to do restream.
Is it this one right there?
Doing both, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. There's your stream photo. Boop, boop, boop. And here are the beginning comments. This is from your DJ Mike Franco. He said,
Mike!
Dear villagers! Enjoy the debut collaboration from my friend Khellendross and I. Shout out to everyone and Vin and Sori for making this happen tonight. Much love from the Untouchables.
Okay, the Untouchables. Boy, here we go. The Untouchables. You know, Korn had a record called Untouchables.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite records. Head doesn't like it because he feels like it's overproduced. It's not grimy enough, you know, for a Korn record.
Oh, okay.
But you know, the boys had to grow up. You know, you can't just be doing basement music all the time.
All right, so Negative Noise by. Let me take that timestamp.
Timestamp is just tell them 10 minutes. 10 minutes flat. This is 9:55 right now.
All right. So Negative Noise by, what do you say?
Tetrarch.
I was going to say, it reminds me of Tetris. And that's it. We just got the lyrics. I'm going to send those to you then.
Okay, so the first
Oh
band
no,
is...
he said comments. What do you get when you add Slipknot, Linkin Park, and Korn? Enjoy this solid pick. All right, so I guess you collaborate all of them. You get like this.
Okay, so Tetrarch is like a new metal band then.
Seems like it.
We
Solid
got a
pick.
new metal band in 2024. Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's see it. No, it's not
Lyrics will
Oceans
be
of
on the
Slumber. It's Tetrarch. Shout out to Lost Hate. I know what it is, bro. you know Oceans of Slumber.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has a black lead singer.
Oh.
And there's a black.
No!
It ain't nothing. That's the same thing I thought, but no. It's Tetrarch, you losers. All right, here we go. Song numero uno. Shout out to all you beautiful people. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Remember, if you're on the Rumble side, there's going to be some... You know what, though? If you're on the YouTube side, you guys qualify for a contest as well. So, for the first time ever, we are allowing YouTubians...
Points will be given on both sides.
YouTubians and Rumbillions. Listen, as soon as you see this right here, once you put down the magic number, and the magic number is 5682894. Somebody try to figure that out. Whoever does that first on the Rumble side or the YouTube side will get a point that will go towards
568
free merch.
2894.
Sure. It'll get you the free merch. Now, Lost Hate has been
Okay, the number is 5692894. I don't know if I said it wrong when I just said it, but that's the official number.
That's pretty good. There's the full pick in all of its glory, dear listener. That's Tetrarch. You got Shorty rocking a Slipknot shirt, so you know what she's about. All right, now, having said that, the moment has arrived. Here we go. Song number one, Tetrarch.
Let's do it.
Negative Noise is the name of the song. Negative Noise, and you send me the lyrics, right?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. us, TETRARCH.
All right.
What band do they sound like to you? I'm specifically asking you. Sorry. What is who does this band remind you of?
I don't know.
This reminds me of early Slipknot, right? Like first two records. First two records. It sounds like really, really, really early Slipknot. I don't know about right now because I haven't, but yeah, man, this is TETRARCH. Yeah, like definitely, almost like a blast from the past because like
the topic too. Like,
what do you mean?
I don't know, talking about mediocrity and stuff, like, like Slipknot, okay, I haven't listened to a ton of, when I started listening to metal, it was all at the same time. So it was harder to kind of keep everything separated. But it, like, the idea that, like, this person doesn't fit in with everybody else around them, like, they don't want to live in mediocrity. Like, do you think that they're...
Go ahead.
Do you think that a lot of people feel that way? Like, or do you think that there's like groups of people that are like, yay, I love mediocrity?
That's such an interesting question. I think mediocrity is kind of a subjective term. Like, what does it mean? How do you quantify mediocrity? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a...
Yeah, because how is a band singing about mediocrity?
What do you mean by that?
Because they have like this totally different job that everybody's like, if only I had that job,
Yeah, but mediocre is kind of like, like a lukewarm, tea. You know what I'm saying? Like,
boring.
Yeah.
Nothing's really happening.
Yeah, well, yeah, and also just not very high quality. Doesn't matter what you're doing. So, like, even if you're an outsider... If you're a low quality outsider, you're just a mediocre outsider. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So, I mean, what was the name of that movie? It was like American Pie, and like
I never saw it.
It was like the biggest movie in '99.
I remember it was a giant deal.
This giant movie.
I remember all the guys were talking about it,
and it was like one of the main things that one of the main characters. This girl was like the popular girl. Blah, 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 blah. And of course, she's insecure, yada, yada, yada. And then, when you get to her monologue, like toward the end of the movie, she talks about being afraid of being normal or being afraid of being a regular person and not, whatever. And the way that people try to stand out or whatever. So it was an interesting time because I was a teenager when that movie came out. And it was me, my girl at the time, my best friend, we're all sitting there. And I remember when she said that, and I was like, damn, like that really, really hit me. Like I was terrified of living a mediocre life or even a normal life. Like I was terrified, like, it'd be like a waste of space to be here. Like it was crazy. But, and if you'd have asked me like, okay, so like what would you want to be so that you don't have a mediocre life? Yeah. I'd immediately told you I wanted to be a rock star, right? Because that was when I had discovered Korn and all the rest of it, right? So I'd have been like, oh, boom, here it is right here. And like, now here we are, and we're, if somebody were to say like, yeah, you're going to be backstage at a Korn show and, famous people are going to talk to you and your wife is going to be, jealous of this person talking to you, like I'd be like, what? But then when we got there, like when we actually got there, like it wasn't what it was cracked up to be. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah, like on stage and all that, like definitely, but like when you get behind stage, it was like everybody went their own way. One of the dudes didn't seem very happy to be there. Like he was just, it's like he was bored. And I was like, wow.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And then like his facial expression this is not Korn. This is one of the bands that was supporting him. But like, the energy was crazy. And like, when I say the energy was crazy, I'm talking about him because we were right there. He was like, literally like 5-10 feet away from us. And yeah, man, like dude was like, I don't know what was going on with homie, but he was, he wasn't You know what I mean? And so like it makes you like wonder like, okay, like what is mediocrity? What are we all trying to get to? You know what I mean? Like, because like you could be a rock star and then you could be a mediocre rock star. You know, because there's gonna be some band that's bigger than you or whatever. Or like same thing with football players. Like, oh, it's my dream to do this. Like I watch people because you know you're so used to watching Tom Brady go to all these Super Bowls, but like I watch these guys. They won once, and then they're fine. It's over with after that. And I think that the one and done guys are one and done for the same reason that Brady had to get 7 titles, which is they're not satisfied even after being a champion. They're like, is this it? What else is there to do? Like that's what Tom said when he got his first Super Bowl. He got it, you know, basically the first year he was in the league. He's like, okay, what's that? Well,
Yeah, what now?
you know, and so like I think all of us are like dealing with that at some level. Like, what is the thing that makes life exciting, or what is it about me? Am I leaving my mark? That type of thing. So
Yeah.
that's what I got out of the song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that, you know, you see the sort of like midlife crisis type of situation that like when you're young, you like hear people talking about it, but you're like, what? I always thought it was kind of weird. Like, I was like, and what happens? Just like one day you're like, I need a fancy car. I need
Oh,
some
you talking about the midlife crisis? Or
yeah,
whatever?
like
Oh,
when
yeah,
people like hit that point, but
yeah.
I think it's just like, you know, I think that, you know, what you were experiencing as a teenager where you were like, that feeling is, and I had that too, like the no regrets thing I think was part of that too. Like I don't want to hit a point in my life where I feel like I've wasted everything, and I didn't feel like I was going to waste my life away. I felt like that I was going to do meaningful things, because the way that I defined meaning was I like God's kingdom is important to me, to be able to talk about God's kingdom and you know, let people know what's happening there. And also I think the other thing, you know, is just I like helping people, and I like it if something that I've been through is able to help somebody else. That's really important to me too. So I think maybe by definition, but like if my definition was, you know, that I was going to be, by the time it depends on how you define your life and what you think is important, because, you know, I wanted to have a bunch of kids. I have a million kids, you know what so I kind of feel like but you can still have those feelings of like, am I doing enough? Like, is it, but then you think to yourself, you know how you said, you know, like you're judging mediocrity in yourself. Like, how would you define mediocrity for yourself?
No comment. But like one that kind of like popped into my head, and this is going to be interesting, was Biden.
Okay.
Right? Because like this dude has been trying to be the president for like longer than you and I have been alive. Like literally. And like he got it. He made it. You know? And then basically what ended up happening was his own team said, yeah, but you were a mediocre president, so you got to go. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like,
but are they just saying like you got there too? It was too late. Because if he'd have gotten that 10 years ago or whatever, you know, I know my numbers are off there, but
well, yeah, 10
years. The point.
10 years ago, it would have been a completely different ballgame.
It would have been 12 years ago.
It would have been a different ballgame for him, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like his people wouldn't have said that, but like the way that life played itself out. My question was,
that's the
you know how Jesus talks about like how much mercy you give to other people, like that whatever measuring stick that you use to measure other people, that's how it's going to be measured to you. And I wonder if, you know, like when we were younger, whatever, like what we looked at as a mediocre, the people that we saw that were mediocre and accepting their mediocrity, do people that have judged people in mediocre situations, then when they find themselves in that same situation, is it like, okay, now you're what you judge that person to be, now the judgment comes on yourself?
Well, I don't know that you can have a mediocre situation.
I think when I think of mediocrity, I think of like having to do the same job, like how difficult that would be. Like the concept of having, like, if you had to do a job that, like, piecework, where it's the same thing over and over and over.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when I say, I don't mean that you're a bad person or that you're less of anything. For me to have to sit and do the same thing over and over would be extremely difficult. And I'm talking mediocrity in what the job is.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about Biden, it is a kind of a cruel eye, and you don't have to be Democrat, Republican, but you just have to be a human being. I think we've all had this experience. It's like you wanted something, you did everything you could, you positioned yourself, you did whatever, and you could just never attain to it. And then he finally got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the circumstances were. Like when our kids are doing history books 10, 15 years from now, he's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, damn. So like this is like the most powerful person in the world. And then his final, it's just a crazy, I hate that shit. Like I said, like I'm completely probably on the other team from Biden. I'm just saying at the human level of like putting in all that work, and then, hopefully history's kinder to him. But it looks now like, you were just firewall against, the boogeyman and all that, and then you lost your mind, and then we had to you got booted out by your own party. I mean, look, the point is this, it doesn't matter. Like, you could literally be the king of the world, which kind of is what an American president is. It doesn't matter. Like, people could still look at you as mediocre, and they'll still disregard you and all the rest of it. It's just crazy. It makes you say to yourself, like, you gotta find some concept or some idea that it's kind of like a Dyson sphere of meaning, in the sense of like, the thing is perpetually giving you meaning as time goes on. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's family and all this. It's like, I don't know. I was just driving my oldest to the airport. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not going to see him for like all the way back until November, if that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's out there pursuing his dream. So it's like, you got to find something that doesn't get boring, doesn't lose the flavor, and continues to elevate you. And I think that's a very, very difficult thing for people to find. Obviously, for us, it appears that there's only one being or concept in the universe that is kind of like self-replicating, and you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was just a really interesting song to like jump off to, because when you're really, really young and you don't have the worldly obligations of like going to work and all this, you're young and you get time to think, you can say stuff like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can think these things through because you don't have all those extra, things that kind of tie you down and force you to live a mediocre life. Like, oh, you want to be a rock star? That's great. Here's this 5-year-old that needs you, So, like, a lot of it depends on how you define the term, dear listener.
I'm like, man, I'm really looking forward to the time where everybody's like, whatever is your love and your passion, you can make money off it. I wonder if it, maybe.
I wish my ex was mediocre. Would have been an improvement.
Oh my God.
See, that's the other side of it. No, that's the other side of it. It's like, look, man, Jeffrey Dahmer's not mediocre. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I mean, seriously, like, we're still going to be talking about, dude, 20 years from now, Jeffrey Dahmer. There's American presidents that, I mean, beyond Reagan, it's all a blur to me. Was it Carter before Reagan? But like, it's all a blur after that. You know what I'm saying? But like, nobody's ever going to forget Jeffrey Dahmer. So, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I have a video, but I guess we'll react to it in the shorts. But it's just the concept of like it's this girl, and she's talking about how she works at a she works for the post office, and she's like, I never thought that I was going to be doing this in my life. Like, I thought that it was basically like a joke when I first started. It was like, oh, I'm just gonna take a part-time position here, but then, you need more hours, so you take more hours. But what she really wanted to do was like fashion or something like that. But it's like, she's realizing that that's not gonna happen. Like, there's very few people that get to do what they're passionate about. And most people have to struggle through the workload of the mediocrity of their job and like how difficult that is. And then, some people are working through their job and then they don't have medical help, and they're pay. It's just, it's hard. It's hard out there. And in this song, we're talking about, I hate the way it feels. It's my fear to be running in circles just to stand still. I need the chaos. I crave the thrill. Feeling its pain is the only thing real. And I think that there's people that are like that. Like, there's some people that like, they crave the chaos. And I used to like feel so bad for people that were constantly in the middle of chaos. And then the more and more I realized it, I was like, a lot of our chaos is based off of decisions that we make and repetitive decisions. Like, it's the same, especially like when you're seeing somebody else's life through Facebook posts. You're looking at 15 posts a year, maybe, that kind of come through your feed. And it's some people, it's just the same circles. And if you can stop yourself and say, I've been frustrated with the same ending every single year. And then you have to say, okay, what decisions led me to this point of frustration? And then something along the line, you've got to change. And like, man, but I don't know. It just, I think it's hard to recognize patterns in ourselves, and it's hard to change those things. But I definitely think that there's excitement in knowing yourself and what you're capable of. And then,
yeah, I mean, that's where the whole idle hands become the devil's play, whatever thing is. People are like, it's really interesting too, because like when you watch TV and you're watching a show, you're like, oh, what's a good show? No show that we say is a good show reflects a regular day in the life of a regular American. There's always something happening. Something happened, something went wrong, aliens invaded, we're in a different time space continuum. Something happened, like there's a conflict everywhere. Okay, let's go to the Shire. Everybody's running around smoking that little thing that, Gandalf was smoking that weed, whatever. Oh shit, here comes Saruman. Like, it's always, that's what entertains us, we're watching these people that we know are fictional, but we're so like bored with our lives that we will invest in these characters. We're not even real. Because we're like, I promise you, like, I didn't really, there have been times in my life where, I didn't watch any TV. I'll say it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no need. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the paradoxes of living in an affluent country, is that you can kind of start systematizing things and everybody knows what to expect. And then once you get to that level of success as a society, which is really difficult to accomplish, the people in it are like, everything's so boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, human beings are strange, man. 9.2!
9.3 for me on this one. That, you guys, was Negative Noise by, can you say the man's name?
Tetrarch.
Tetrarch.
Wasn't Herod the Tetrarch in the New Testament?
Tetrarch?
Yeah. I guess I haven't seen The Bear. That's one of the most realistic shows I've seen for a certain group of working people. Okay.
Weren't we working on that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna binge that show because Khellendross said it. All right, guys, here we go. We have just started the day.
I like that one. Also because I like cooking, and I like seeing chopping it up in the kitchen and making stuff. All right, you guys, more songs to come. Up next is Seraph. So we'll be right back.
Seraph. We will see you on the other side of the break. Vin out.
Sori out.
Go. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option, as Sori says. $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. It's how shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's not going to have to buy our merch because the merch is going to be sent to them because they've accumulated so many points. I'm not going to mention the name of the person.
Seraph by Anterior?
Anterior.
All right, guys, this is DJ Mike, Franco, and Khellendross in the house.
Khellendross!
This one might be. Anterior is a melodic death metal metalcore band out of Wales. What's my time?
Out of Wales.
50.
Yes.
39. Out of Wales. The band only put out 2 albums.
Is Reservation Dogs. One of these days I'll get y'all to watch it and maybe understand the life of the indigenous communities. That was Dwayne Chamberlain, who I'm pretty sure is in Reservation Dogs. Yes, dear listener.
He is.
We
saw him on the dance floor.
We have famous people on our channel. Unlike you, how many famous people on y'all channel?
Yours.
Tell the truth. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see what else our DJs have to say. The Age of the band only put out 2 albums. This one is their first.
What?
From their
Only
first,
2 records?
Mm-hmm. This Age of Silence, which came out in 2007, notable for their extreme technical ability. What was extra impressive about this debut is that every member of the band was in their teens at the time.
Unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
This is going to be crazy.
Sit in judgment of our children. I'm just kidding. Our kids are doing crazy
our
things.
Mediocre children.
Our mediocre. Okay, let's check it out, guys.
All
the name of the song is Sarah.
Shout out to all you people.
That means
like,
Vinny.
Share, comment, subscribe. When you see this type of situation, if you put down the magic number
5692894.
If you put in the magic number, you actually earn points that then get
posted on Patreon, and we keep track of those points, and then there will be winners.
Yes, you get merch, or you put the points toward a free song review, etc., etc., etc. Okay, here we go, guys. Song numero dos. It's the name of the band. TETRARCH. No, Anterior. Seraph is the name of the song. You got me the lyrics.
Yeah, and Mikey, I need you to give me access to those other songs so we can download them.
Yeah, the lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, that's a good one. That is a good song. Only 2 albums.
Boy! Hey, let me tell you something, brethren.
Tell us.
We're watching this. I'm not going to tell y'all what we're watching. Just watch us. There's nothing else to watch on YouTube. There's nothing else to watch on. There's nothing else to watch on YouTube except for us. All the other channels have been broken.
Yes, they're all gone.
Yes. Okay. First of all, you will never guess what was in my mind as I was listening to this song. There is a specific line that popped in my head at about the 50% mark into this song. And nobody on the planet, except for the Lord Jesus, even knows what I'm thinking. But go ahead. I'll tell you beautiful people later. Go ahead. Tell the people how you felt about it.
I mean, I don't know if maybe this is me too much saying your business, but it reminds me of what you said the other day where you were like, God, I need a win. And he was like, well, yeah, get up and get one.
Oh.
This is your wake-up call. You're probably wondering where you are. I'll tell you where you might be. You might be in that room you die in. I thought that was interesting. Like, I just thought it was an interesting concept that, like, if somebody never goes anywhere and they just stay there, like, that could be potentially where. But if you're always going and you're, like, doing something and whatever, it's unlikely you're in the room you'll die in, but.
What popped into my head was these guys were probably homeschooled.
Oh?
That's what popped into my head.
Why?
Because anytime you see a bunch of kids doing something like really crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
right, the warning.
Yeah, like what people don't realize is, and like we're starting to see it because we homeschooled, was that if you put the kid in a situation where they follow their passion, 9.8 times out of 10, they're going to end up specializing in something. So our oldest was a big poli-sci person, political science guy. And now he's working for...
He genuinely loves that.
Yeah, he loved it.
My God.
He's loved it since he was a kid.
Yep, always.
Which is interesting because it's all tracked on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yep.
But like, yeah, like he's like, you know, that was his passion. So now literally that's what he was doing. He's getting flown around, doing whatever.
He's like, I was at another conference. I was like, was it interesting? He's like, I loved it. I was like, I bet you did.
Well, he said, Tulsi looked at me, he said. Tulsi, yeah, I was in the same room with Tulsi Gabbard. I was in the front row. Like, and it's crazy. Like, I dropped him off the airport a couple days ago. I'm like, what? It's crazy. But anyway, young people, like when you're, I probably really truly would have been like, if we were like homeschooled in the same area, like we would do this. We would end up with a band like this at 16 or 17.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like if all that's what I had to do, you know?
Man.
But anyway, first of all, these kids are crazy. Like, did he say why they broke up or why they only did two?
No, I don't think so. You just said that they only did 2.
Okay, so.
But I mean, if they were teens.
Yeah, there was a lot.
When they popped off with these 2.
This was a very guitar-heavy song, and to be this proficient at guitar at this age is crazy. Yeah, you can do stuff in the studio and work some magic, but I'm sure these guys are pretty close to the same situation live. I mean, that's a really challenging thing to do, and for them to be able to do that at that age is pretty crazy. But yeah, Mikey, tell us what happened relative to why they're not continuing. Because if they were doing this as teenagers, can you imagine when they haven't even hit their peak yet? They haven't even come close to hitting their peak yet. So I need to know, like, why in the world?
That's why I think, I mean, you're talking 5 teenagers. 5 of them are teens. That means all of them have to stick with the dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they meet somebody or, you know, like it's a lot of people to have to be on board on the same project.
Agree.
But lyrically, Seraph, you know, the Seraph it's an angel. Weren't you saying you were speculating that Shaitan that Satan in the garden was a seraph?
Yeah, the terms seraph and serpent are used interchangeably.
Right.
So was it Isaiah 6?
Yeah.
Was it the seraphim or the cherubim over there? But long story short, the term seraph. So honestly, in Isaiah chapter 6, there's this famous picture. God is on the throne, and he's got those are the burning ones, right? The seraphim.
Yeah.
Well, and there's these two giant angels worshiping God in this vision, and they're called
really cool. It's Isaiah chapter 6.
Yeah, they're called seraphim, and it's really interesting because when you think about angels or you hear angels, you got the wings, and they're basically humanoid and all the rest of it.
Yeah, the seraphim.
But the term seraph is actually an interchangeable term with serpent. And so,
surprise.
Actually, if you would have seen them, and this was really mind-blowing, and yes, Orthodox Christian scholars say this, if you would have seen them, they would essentially have been winged serpents. But these serpents were good guys, and they were worshiping God, which gives us a little bit of a hint into why Eve would have talked to the serpent, and why she would have taken any advice from the serpent.
Yeah.
It's because these were a high order of angels that were essentially the throne guardians of Yahweh, right? So like in ancient Egyptian reliefs, you would see Pharaoh on the throne, and then he's wearing this headdress, which is supposed to make him look like a cobra, by the way, that little Egyptian headdress. It made you look like a cobra because Pharaoh was embodying the spirit of these beings.
Right.
And in these reliefs, you will see a serpent on the left and a serpent on the right, essentially guarding the throne of Pharaoh, who was wearing a headdress to look like a serpent. And so you almost had a trinity of serpents in this picture. And Isaiah, this is like one of the freakiest, craziest things in the Bible ever. If you think about, like, the term serpent is almost universally looked upon as bad in the scriptural, economy. So now you look up and you see these two giant flying serpents, and they're saying good stuff, which gets to the point of saying, like, like the serpent itself is not the bad thing. The bad thing is, what the people do with the certain decisions that they make. But it is really an interesting idea.
It's the intention of the being.
Right. But the seraph, they're the closest beings to God in the universal economy, right? So like they're the closest thing to God, and they apparently have some really deep wisdom that we can learn from. And if they're good, that wisdom will lead us to God, and if they're bad, it will lead us away from God. So it's really, really very interesting because you have these weird things like Jesus comparing himself to a serpent in John chapter 3. Right, and that used to always bother me. Like, why are you comparing yourself to a serpent?
Yeah, I see.
They're all bad, but they're not. The serpents that you see, the snakes that you see in the world today, are bootleg, like 5-year-old drawings of the actual reality of what an actual seraph is, if that makes any sense. So.
Yeah, I think we got this idea of like Satan being like this slithering snake, weird sort of situation, because when he's talked about in Genesis, it's after the fall that it's being talked about. So God himself describes him as he is in the spiritual realm. So he's now a beast. He just, slithering around. Like there's the satanic powers and influences, and those things are powerful, but not in relation to God and his kingdom. So they're a beast and like a snake instead of like this big, powerful, angelic being. So he says, painted over, forever bleed, in the hope of grieving. Seraphs, save us from this. As it rains inside, hope crumbling from the suffering entailed. Beating inside these walls of justice in the pursuit of achieving communion. We're alone inside. Seraph repels this offense. You're mine.
Yeah, and then it looks like Seraph is speaking here. This is your wake-up call. You're probably wondering where you are. I'll tell you where you might be. You might be in the room that you die in. Are you going to watch yourself die today or do something about it? Remember, in hell, only the devil can help you. But I'll leave you in this room to rot. So that was a line from Saw, I think.
Oh, okay. I saw people referencing Saw.
Where these people wake up, they're in this room, and then they basically have to do all types of horrible things to get out of it. And it's a horror movie or whatever. I think it's like the last horror movie I actually watched. I don't like horror movies, but I will say the concept was very interesting. Like, what would you do to live, to survive? Like, how far would you go?
Yeah.
That type of thing. You see what I'm saying? But it looks like they're expanding it to the world. Like, the world is the room.
Oh, really?
And then the systems that everybody buys into without really thinking through it are the problem. And so they're now starting to figure it out. And so now they're trying to get out of the machine type of thing, and etc. We should have a Saw movie watch along. I doubt very highly that we would do a Saw movie watch along.
Yeah.
I like being, everybody likes the thrill, but the gore stuff, like, I don't like gore.
I don't either.
Especially, I've seen a lot of gore, like, close up, and it's not,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not offended by anybody who watches a movie. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, I don't have the constitution to watch a lot of gore for 2 hours straight. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? Reading between the lines, it looks like it was just a wear and tear of being in the band that was relatively unknown, as they alluded to fighting against the music industry as an uphill battle. Yeah, I mean, every single band that we've reviewed that has even achieved success, like the rare success, like Tool, they all say it. They've all written songs about it. The industry is extremely difficult to penetrate and extremely difficult to remain in, especially the way things are with everything is free. You know what I'm saying? Like, you buy a subscription to iTunes for $11 a month, you literally have access to millions of songs. And then if you're not lazy, you can get any song you want from YouTube if you know how to do it properly. So, like, the music industry right now is probably the most challenging it's ever been. But this band, man, like, it's crazy to me that they were able to see this stuff as teenagers. But again, like, if you think about it, they have no obligations. They don't have kids. They don't have bills.
Yeah.
And, like, if you are in an environment where it's like, whatever your passion is, do it for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
You're gonna get.
Yeah.
You're gonna. That's the thing. It's like our kids kind of have a unfair advantage.
Oh, 100%.
Because they're able to be, specialists, and they're going to be specialists by the time they're 18, and that's when most people are starting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the other thing that's interesting also about homeschooling is that, like, I obviously, like, I'm almost 40 years old. I probably need to grow past this. I understand that. But when something is, like, information is coming at me, but it has, like, that school vibe to it, my mind just shuts right off.
Yeah.
I'm gone. And I don't even realize that I've left the room, so to speak. Where I don't think that our kids are being traumatized in that way of learning. And traumatized is a weird word to use for it, but I do think that if 30 years later, when something comes out in a sort of teaching way, your mind completely closes off. Like, there was some negativity that was around in the teaching and a lot of pressure. And I think that, our kids will come up when you think of teenagers, like, if you're not an ageist, they're actually, like, they come out with things that you're like, whoa. And if you look back at yourself as a teenager, you had some really formulated thoughts. And I remember thinking, man, if only these older people would listen to us, we could save them some trouble. But they didn't, they believe that they have everything. I'm talking to, I got these little trays for, like, the kids to put their little food on. And then the kids started talking about, well, where do they use trays in the world? And I said, well, I mean, school and prison, I guess, would be the two places I know of. And then one of them's like, don't you think it's kind of weird, in other words, the similarities between prison and school? I was like, I mean, there are some similarities, that's for sure.
Shit, especially in the school I went to in the Bronx, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was like going through an airport terminal.
Yeah.
Put your bag through the thing. We got the wand, blah, blah, blah. What do you give this song?
I am going to give this one a 9.4.
I'm going to give this one an 8.6. Hardcore. Hardcore. All right, guys. We have just begun the night. We will see you on the other side of the break. Shout out to all the beautiful people in this house. We need more likes on the YouTube side and more likes on the Rumble side. You YouTubians, you Rumbillions. When you see the thing flashy flash, you guys know what to do. We'll see you beautiful people on the other side of the break. Vin out.
Sori out.
Go. We'll be back. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. It shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Like, share, comment, subscribe, dear listener. Okay.
What Are We Dying For by Witherfall for our DJ Mike, Franco, and...
Oh, I thought it was